Is that where this newfound curiosity came from you becoming a parent?
No, from actually listening to what Kennedy had to say, as opposed to, look, the biggest, I would say, interesting, I'll give a lot of credit to Elon and Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. This, I was talking to, again, a scientist today who's a brilliant, epidemiologist, and among other issues. And he was one of the scientists / doctors that raised questions about our approach to the COVID vaccine. And he was demoted on Twitter, and some of the papers he put up on one of the preprint sites were taken down as misinformation. And you look at this guy, Jay Bhattacharya at Stanford, his recommendations for how we should have managed COVID turned out to be pretty much spot on accurate. But he was basically just taken off Twitter as misinformation. And now Twitter has become a place where people can express their views. And I'm a huge free speech advocate, and I use Twitter. Look, some of the most profitable investments, one of the most profitable investments I've ever made, I made because of what I learned on Twitter, which was the COVID, the trade we made where we bought CDS. It was clear to me that it was a very high probability event that COVID would be here. We'd have to shut the global economy. And I learned that because I could take a dispassionate view and collect data without it, at least those topics were yet to be screened, if you will. And Elon has basically opened up Twitter now. And the downside to a very open format is there's going to be some hate speech. There's going to be some things that people don't like. The upside is free speech has been a critical sort of tenet of our country's principles and helps preserve the democracy. So I find that to be a really important vehicle. And on Kennedy, I read the headlines and always had a perception he was a total wacko. And then I spent some time spending several hours listening to him in a podcast, doing some more work on him as a person. I said, he's raising some really important points on vaccines I hadn't thought about. And so I would say, a year ago, I would have automatically taken a booster. Now I'm going to think about risk and reward, and I don't think it makes sense for me. It may make sense for someone who has health issues, who's older, but vaccines have risk and reward, and you have to do the calculus as to whether the risk justifies the reward. And I really hadn't spent a lot of time thinking about it prior to Kennedy, and I give him a lot of credit for that.